Hey guys, so this is one of the most evergreen automations that we've built for businesses. So it's a WhatsApp band auto scheduler, right? So what it does is that it basically captures leads, right? And it puts them into the CRM, which is GHL, and we'll be nurturing them all the way through the sales process, right? And this is all fully automated, right? So before we begin, right, I'll be introducing this system, this concept called band, but yeah, as I mentioned earlier, right, it all starts off with the lead capture, right? So whenever a contact is added to a contact, right, a contact is created, or a tag is added to a contact, right, which is this one. So we have another separate automation that adds this tag to everyone who tags us or fills up a form, for example, right? And it will then follow through with this nurture flow, right? Yeah. So before I dive into the flow, right, I'll be introducing a quick concept where this system is built on, which is BANT, right? BANT, right? So BANT actually just stands for budget, authority, need, and timeline, right? So instead of pushing every lead to buy immediately, right, we use BANT to guide the conversation and qualify intent, right, and get an engagement score, right, which is something like this. So we can, focus our efforts on those who have a higher engagement score, because they are more likely to be sold on, right? So we'll be asking questions like, when do they want to start? Why do you want to learn, right? What's their age, yeah. So the goal of following this band system isn't to sell fast. It's actually just to focus our human time, right? Where you focus your energy on human touch, on the leads that are actually ready to be sold to, right? You don't want to sell to everyone, right? You'll be burnt out before you even start. So that's why we have this band system, right? So firstly, we have lead capture, right? So we are capturing the leads and putting them into the CRM, right? So this is what we call speed to lead, right? So it starts the moment someone fills up a form, right, as I mentioned, or when they text us, or they WhatsApp us, or they send us a message on Facebook or Instagram, right? All of these leads will then be tagged with this trigger, right? This contact tag, right? Which will then trigger this whole workflow, right? They'll be tagged with this tag, and then which will trigger this workflow, right? So as you can see, after it's been tagged, we'll then move on to this WhatsApp service window check to see whether or not they are open for the 24-hour service window, right? So that we can send messages for free, right? So firstly, we have a message, right? After we've confirmed that they are open for sending messages, right, we have a permission, right, to see whether or not they are okay for us to ask a few questions, right? And this will typically show up like this. Let me just show you real quick. Right, so this will typically show up something like this, right? I saw you checked out our 3-month coding school, blah blah blah. Can I ask you a few quick questions, right? So you press yes or no, right? So the customer just has to press yes or no, and let's say they went for yes, like I did, right? Let's say they clicked yes, right? So they click yes, but then follow up with a why, right? Why do you want to learn tech, for example, which is a follow-up question. For example, they want to change career, upskill, personal growth, and all of these answers, right, will then contribute to a engagement score. For example, if they fill up with change career, they'll have a engagement score of +10. Upskill for job, which is +7, for example. Next, we'll then follow up with the next question, right, which is the start timeline, right? So all of this answer, depending on whichever path, whichever choice that they choose, will all lead to this next question, which is when do you want to start, right? So similarly, right, if they chose ASAP, right, they'll have a different engagement score, for example 10, 7, 5, example, right? So throughout all of these automations, we also have these internal notifications, so to say, to inform our user, right, our team, that someone has not received this message, and to check whether or not the phone number that we are currently texting is a legit phone number, and also to check whether or not we still have balance in this GHL account, right? So next, Next, we then ask of their age, right? So depending on their age, we also give them a different engagement score. For example, if they're younger, we'll give them a higher engagement score. Sorry, if they are in the age of 25 to 35, they have a higher engagement score because they are more likely to sign with us, right? Historically speaking, as our students are mainly from this age, right? So lastly, we will then send a message, right, which is to confirm the contact details, right? So yeah, right. As you can see, after this, I did not reply, and we'll have a step usually to check whether or not the contact has replied or not. So we'll check for 15 minutes, but in this case it's almost 1 hour because this is the updated version. This was tested in November, which is already outdated, but I'm just using it as an example to show you, right? So after this, we then usually proceed with a discovery question, right? So this one onwards is not reflected here anymore, right? So after this, this question where we ask them to confirm their details, we have a discovery question, right? Just to ask them if they are, what's motivating them, right? This is sent 15 minutes after, right? The new one is sent 15 minutes after, because we want to keep and make sure everything is within the 24-hour timeline. Because sending an automated message to them, to your customers, will be free during that time period, right? Right, so after the discovery question, this is where it changes already from the old outdated format, because we've added a new new branch, right, where we ask whether or not they want to speak with have a meeting with our advisors to help them, right? Which then this leads to a whole booking, automation, right, where we schedule a call and hop on a call and help with their issues, right, and eventually sell them on signing up with our course. So this flow, right, as I mentioned, was the course, the branch where it leads to them booking a call with us and speaking to an advisor on which course would suit them the best, right? So this is the branch, which is the happy path, right? So this is the other branch where, let's say they did not reply on the discovery question, we'll then follow up with another question, which is this one, right, with another message. So if not mistaken, it's after 4 hours, I think, if they did not reply. Let's see, it's a bit laggy, right? So after 4 hours, right, we will then send them a message, which is no worries, if you're busy right now, I can assist you, right? So let's see. So let's say if we put it as no, right, it then guides us to how would you like us to help you, right? In this case, let's say if we click, if the client clicked yes, right, so if we clicked yes just now, it would also bring us to a book appointment flow, right, which would also lead to them booking an appointment, leads to them going to a booking page, right, appointment booking page. So if you click no, it will then bring you all the way to the left, which I'll go there in a second. So if the person clicked no, right, it took a while to load, that's why I had a pause for a while. If the person clicked no, right, if they don't want to speak to an advisor, right, it would then send them a testimonial, right, from our previous student to show them some social proof that we are actually working, right? So yeah, all of this then eventually leads to them booking a call. But what I want to show you is this part, which is what helped us keep our automated messages at a lower rate, right? Because we have this system where we make sure that we send a confirmation message to them to make sure that they refresh the 24-hour service window from Meta, right? So let me just show you. Right, so it's here. So towards the very end, right, after 14 hours, which is actually since the start of the message, right, all the way here, it's almost 20 hours, right? So we give them time to reply, to refresh the service window. So after 14 hours, if they still didn't reply, right, we'll then go to this path here. Right, so we're here. right? So it goes all the way here to ask them whether or not they want to continue the chat, right? Continue talking to us, right? So this is the message that we'll send to them. Right, so it sends them something like that, right? Seems like you may not have further questions now, right? If they want to continue chatting, right, at any time, hope to hear from you again. So this continue chat button, right? Let's say if the 24-hour service window is ended, right? Because after 24 hours, we are not able to send a automated message to the client for free, right? So if they did click on continue chat, it will then restart the 24-hour service window, which then keeps our overall costs for running this band automation or this whole lead nurturing automation to a very, very low cost, around if not mistaken, like $5 to $10 a month compared to before we set this up, because it was quite expensive. Because all of this cost slowly builds up as you get more and more clients, right? More and more leads. So yeah. That's mostly sums up what this whole automation goes about, right? There's a lot of go-tos and links, which is quite tough to bring about, because as you can see, as I'm just pulling this around, it's really tough enough to showcase just this part for you guys, right? So yeah. And lastly, I want to talk to you guys about this trigger again, right? So this tagging, right? This tagging makes it very convenient. So for example, we have dormant leads, for example, right? So for example, we have dormant leads, right? Someone goes quiet for weeks or months, and you want to re-engage later with new updates, new testimonials, for example. You can always just remove this tag, right? This tag says DP sign up. You can always remove this tag and then reattach this tag again to, so to say, refresh this whole workflow for them, right? So then you just keep them updated and also ask them whether or not they're still interested in going with you guys. So all in all, this system works because it solves a timeless problem where businesses don't really lose deals because their offer is bad, and businesses usually lose out on deals because the follow-up is inconsistent. For example, your team has been texting this person for the whole week, and maybe on the weekends they went on a trip and they forgot to reply and follow up next Monday, right? So this in turn just makes sure that the person that is interested in to work with your company is taken care of, right? So this is also some kind of a playbook that we've created so that our team, everyone can just follow and so say understand more on this band system and on when can we start, when can human intervention go in and start replying to them, right? Because there are certain parts where it'll be transferred to a human to start replying, right? But all in all, it just covers basically what goes on in this all of this workflow, right? Yeah. So yeah, I mean the messages that are sent are usually somewhat different, but in overall, you can so say envision how the flow goes, right? And do try it out yourself, set it up yourself, and do share with us how it went for you. And if you'd like to see more automations like these, right, do remember to comment down below. And thanks for watching and happy automating. Thank you.